Hello, welcome to all of you to my sixth video lecture on elementary particles. So today we will discuss about the quantum number which is new. Okay, so new quantum number which is assigned to the quark. So that quantum number is called as color quantum number. Okay, so color quantum number was assigned to the quark due to some problems when we defined the quark wave function of a particle, that is delta. Okay, so while we consider the wave function of delta particle, then the new quantum number was defined. That new quantum number is called as color quantum number. So let us discuss about the color quantum number. So I told that this color quantum number was seen or was required while examining the quark wave function of delta particle. So what is delta particle? We have discussed about this particle in the earlier class. Okay, so let me discuss more about the delta particle. So delta is a baryon. So delta particle, delta is a baryon. Okay. It has 4 charge states. So it has 4 charge states such as delta plus plus, delta plus plus, delta plus, then delta 0 and delta minus. Okay, so it has 4 charge states, delta plus plus, delta plus, delta 0 and delta minus. So we can say that the isospin of delta particle is 3/2. So here the isospin of delta particle of delta is 3/2. Okay, I is the symbol for isospin, so it is 3/2 for delta particles. Okay, and we also know that delta is a non-strange baryon. Delta is a non-strange baryon, so it is made of up and down quarks. So again we know that delta, so these are the properties of delta particles. In addition to this property, we also know that delta is a non-strange baryon. Non-strange baryon. So it is made of by up and down quarks, up and down quarks. So we can say that delta plus plus, so we can say that the quark content of the delta plus plus is quark content of delta plus plus is U, U and U. So delta plus plus is made up of by 3 up quarks, because we know that the charge of delta plus plus is 2, because charge of delta plus plus is plus 2. Okay. So now let us consider the total wave function of delta plus plus. Okay. So here we are going to consider the total wave function of delta plus plus. So here the total wave function consists of space part, spin part, and isospin part. Okay. So the total wave function of delta plus plus can be written as the combination of space part, spin part, and isospin part. So we can write total wave function psi total wave function of delta plus plus is equal to phi of the space part. So phi is the space part of the wave function, then chi, or you can say xi, is the spin part of the wave function, and I is the isospin part of the wave function. I is the isospin part of the wave function. So here this wave function, total wave function of delta plus plus consists of three things: space part of the wave function, spin, and isospin. So here we know that delta plus plus consists of 3 quarks. Okay. So in the space part, if we arrange the 3 quarks in such a way that it should be symmetric or antisymmetric. Okay. But it is observed that if you do some permutation among the position of the quarks, this space part of the wave function is symmetric. So it is seen that space part of the wave function is symmetric. It is seen that it is symmetric. Okay. It is symmetric under the permutation among 3 quarks. Under the permutation among 3 quarks. Okay. So space part of the wave function is symmetric under the permutation of 3 quarks. It is also, can we say that the parity of the delta plus plus is positive. That is why also space part of the wave function is symmetric. So here we can say that parity, since parity of delta plus plus is positive. Parity of delta plus plus is positive, so the space part is symmetric. Then again spin part. Here also spin part is symmetric, because just like isospin, spin of delta plus plus is 3/2. So spin part is also symmetric as spin quantum number, that is S, is equal to 3/2. As S is equal to 3/2, this is the total spin quantum number. Okay. So all 3 quarks having the quantum number half each. So op quark has half spin quantum number. This op quark has also half spin quantum number, and this has also half spin quantum number. So as the total spin of the delta plus plus is 3/2, so we can say that all the op quarks having the spin of state, so they are symmetric under the permutation of 3 quarks. Then another quantum number is isospin. Isospin is also symmetric. Isospin is also symmetric because for delta plus plus I is equal to 3/2. Okay, so just as the spin is symmetric, similarly isospin is symmetric under the permutation of 3 quarks. So we can say that the total wave function of delta plus plus is symmetric. So it is symmetric under the permutation of 3 quarks. But we know that delta plus plus is a baryon. Okay, how the spin is 3/2. That means delta plus plus is a fermion also. So delta plus plus is a fermion. For fermions, the total wave function should be antisymmetric. Okay, for fermions, total wave function should be antisymmetric under the permutations among the particles. Okay, so as delta plus plus is a fermion, so psi total should be symmetric. Otherwise it should violate Pauli exclusion principle. So as delta plus plus is a fermion, psi total should be symmetric. Otherwise it would violate Pauli exclusion principle. Pauli exclusion principle. According to Pauli exclusion principle, we can say that no two identical fermions can have the same quantum number. So if they have same quantum number, then they will be symmetric. So the quantum numbers should be different. Then it is antisymmetric. So here we can say that as the delta plus plus is a fermion, psi total should be symmetric. Otherwise, Pauli exclusion principle would be violated. So then, what can we do is that we should have to assign a new quantum number. We should have to assign a new quantum number to this delta plus plus particle. So that new quantum number is the color quantum number. So we have to assign a new quantum number, that is the color quantum number for quarks. So a new quantum number, that is color quantum number, was assigned to the quarks. So this new degrees of freedom assigned to quark is called as color quantum number. So we can say that quark can be found in colors, just like the spin, isospin, charge. So just like that, quark should be found in color degrees of freedom. And it is said that quark is found in 3 colors. So quark has 3 colors. Quark has 3 colors. That is red, green, and blue. So quark has 3 colors, that is red, green, and blue. So for delta plus plus particle, we can say that the quarks in hadrons must be antisymmetric in the color degrees of freedom. That is, the net color in a hadron must be vanished. So this red, green, and blue are arranged in such a way that the net color of the delta plus plus is vanished. So we can say that, so due to this color degrees of freedom, the total wave function of delta plus plus becomes antisymmetric. Okay, because this color combination is antisymmetric, so all these are symmetric. So from this to this is symmetric. Okay, but this color degrees of freedom, color wave function is antisymmetric under the permutation among 3 quarks. Okay, so if one, because delta plus plus particle consists of 3 quarks, if one quark is having red color, then another quark should have green color, and the other quark should have blue color. So these 3 quarks have different quantum numbers. Okay, then it is agree with the Pauli exclusion principle, because these quantum numbers are different. Color quantum number is different for different quarks. So it is antisymmetric. So this is antisymmetric. So the total wave function of delta plus plus is antisymmetric under the permutation of 3 quarks. So it is antisymmetric. Okay. So that's why this new quantum number, color quantum number, was assigned to quark. So, the study of color in the particle physics is called as quantum chromodynamics. Okay. So when we deal with the color quantum number to the elementary particles, we say that branch of physics is called as quantum chromodynamics. So then another thing we want to discuss is that eightfold way. So now let us discuss what is eightfold way. So what is eightfold way? Eightfold way. In 1961, a classification scheme for elementary particles called eightfold way was proposed by Murray-Gell-Mann and Niemann independently. So in 1961, so this eightfold way classification scheme for elementary particles was proposed independently by Murray-Gell-Mann, and Niemann. Okay. So these two physicists proposed this eightfold way. So what is eightfold way? So eightfold way arranges the baryons and mesons into a very strange and unexpected geometrical patterns according to their charge and strangeness. Okay. So the eightfold way, it is used for baryons and mesons. It is used for baryons and mesons. Baryons and mesons fit in a very strange geometrical pattern. Strange geometrical pattern according to their charge and strangeness. According to their charge and strangeness. Okay. So what is eightfold way? So eightfold way says that 8 baryons. Okay. When 8 baryons or 8 mesons fit in a hexagonal array with 2 particles at the center, this group is known as eightfold way. So for baryon, it is called as baryon octet, and for meson, it is called as meson octet. So now let us discuss this eightfold way for baryons. So 8 baryons fit in a hexagonal array. So first we will draw one hexagonal array. So this is this. So this is the hexagonal pattern. Okay, hexagonal shape. So 8 baryons. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here in center there are 2 baryons, 7 and 8. Okay. So this is the hexagonal shape, and 8 baryons are fit into this hexagonal array. And this 8 baryons, and this is called as baryon octet. So baryon octet. So what are those 8 baryons? So here this is neutron, this is proton, this is sigma minus, here it is sigma 0, and then sigma plus, then cascade or J minus, and this is cascade minus, and this is cascade 0. Okay. And another particle here is, this is sigma 0, and another particle is lambda 8. So these are the 8 baryons which is called as baryon octet, and these baryons are fit in this hexagonal array. Here we can say that all the diagonal lines, these diagonal lines so here we can say that particles of like charges lie along the downward sloping diagonal lines. Okay. So these this line, then this line, these are all diagonal lines, and it shows the same charge in downward diagonal lines. So because here you can say that neutron is neutral, sigma 0 is neutral, and lambda 8 also is neutral, and cascade 0. These four particles are having same charge, that is neutral charge. Charge is 0. And here proton and sigma plus, both have the charge +1. And then the sigma minus and cascade minus, both have also the same charge, that is minus charge. So again I am saying that this diagonal lines, these downward diagonal lines shows about the charge of the particle. Okay. Then horizontal lines associate the particles of same strangeness or like strangeness. So here, so these are the horizontal lines. So these are the horizontal lines. So these lines are for strangeness particle, for same strangeness particle. So here strangeness is 0. We know that neutron and proton are 0 strange particle, 0 strangeness particle. So here strangeness is 0. Then for sigma minus, sigma 0 and sigma plus, these are strange particle, and their strangeness is -1. Okay. Sigma minus, sigma 0, lambda 8 and sigma plus, all these particles are having strangeness -1. And cascade minus and cascade 0, these particles are having strangeness -2. So these horizontal lines indicate the strangeness, and these diagonal lines indicate the charge of the particle. Okay. So here we can also write their quark content. So here we know that the neutron consists of 1 up quark, 2 down quark, and proton 2 up quark, 1 down quark. Cascade minus, as the strangeness is -1, that means it has 1 strange quark, and its charge is minus. So you can write this as strange particle has 1 strange quark, then 1 up quark, then down quark. Sorry, this is US. 2 up quark, 1 down quark. As the charge of sigma minus is -1, so strange quark, then 1 down quark, and then 1 up quark. So it is DDS. DDS is the quark content of sigma minus, because D quark having charge minus 1 by 3. So minus 1 by 3 into 2, because there are 2 D quark, so minus 2 by 3. So this is minus 2 by 3 for 2 D quarks, and again strange quark having charge minus 1 by 3. So it is minus 1 by 3. So total is minus 1. So quark content of the sigma minus is DDS. Then quark content of sigma 0 and lambda 8 is UDS. Okay. And the sigma plus is UUS. Similarly, for cascade or J minus, its quark content is, here S is minus 2, strangeness is minus 2, that means it has 2 strange quark. So 2 strange quark and another down quark. So DSS, and the cascade 0 having the quark content USS. So these are the quark content of all baryons, all 8 baryons. So similarly, just like baryon octet, there is meson octet. Just like this, there is meson octet. We can make a hexagonal shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 particle, and in center there are 2 particles. 2 particles. So 6 plus 2, 8 particles. So what are those mesons? So those mesons are K0, then K plus, then pi minus, then pi 0, and here pi plus, then here K minus and K0 bar. So here it is K minus, and this is K0 bar. And another particle is eta particle, eta 8. So here pi 0, and another particle is eta particle, eta 8. So there are 8 mesons. So this is the meson octet. Meson octet. Okay. So here we can say that, so downward sloping diagonals indicates the same charge particle. So here K plus, pi plus. So here the same particle, both particle having same charge. Then K0, pi 0 and eta 8, then K0 bar. All the particles are 0 charge. K0, pi 0, eta 8 and K0 bar. Okay. Similarly, pi minus. So this pi minus and K minus are also having same charge, that is negative charge. So then horizontal lines. Horizontal lines indicate the strangeness. K0 and K plus are having same strangeness, that is plus 1. So K0 and K plus having same strangeness, that is S is equal to plus 1. Okay. And then pi minus, pi 0, eta 8 and pi plus. All these particles having strangeness 0. And K minus and K0 bar having strangeness minus 1. Okay. So these horizontal lines indicate the strangeness, same strangeness particle. Okay. So this is baryon octet and this is meson octet. So here we can also write the quark content for these mesons. We know that meson contains one particle and one antiparticle, means one quark and one antiquark. So here S is equal to plus 1, that means there is a anti-strange quark. For strange quark, strangeness is minus 1, so for anti-strange quark, strangeness is plus 1. So K0, for K0, we can write D S bar, and for K plus, it is U S bar. Similarly, for pi minus, here strangeness is 0. So here pi minus, for pi minus, the quark content is U bar D. U bar D is the quark content of pi minus. Then for eta pi 0 and eta 8, it is the combination of U bar and DD bar quark content. Then for pi plus, it is UD bar. So in this case, there are no strange particle. So that's why S is equal to 0, and they are having only up and down quarks. Then for K minus, here strangeness is minus 1, so there should be one strange quark. So that is S D bar S. So here K minus, so D bar means, not D bar, it will be K minus should have U bar S, and K0 bar should have D bar S. Okay, so these are the quark content of different mesons fit in a hexagonal shape, and these 8 mesons are called as meson octet, and also these mesons are called as pseudoscalar mesons. Pseudoscalar meson. Okay. Here it is K minus, so U bar is minus 2 by 3, then minus 1 by 3, so minus 1. Okay, all these quark contents are correct. So then we will discuss baryon decuplet. So in the next class we will discuss about baryon decuplet. So thank you very much.